The explosion lit up the dark space like a dying star. Commander Veltar watched from the bridge of his warship as another Zephyrian cruiser broke apart under enemy fire. Metal and crystals scattered into the void, carrying with it the lives of 300 soldiers who would never see their homeworld again. "Report," Veltar said, his voice calm, despite the chaos around them. "The Stormbearer is gone, sir," replied his communications officer. "Direct hit to their power core. No survivors." Veltar closed his 4 eyes for a moment. The Stormbearer had been in his fleet for 12 years. He knew every officer on that ship, their children, their families. They were just glowing. Debris floating in the cold darkness of space. This was the way of war. This had always been the way of war. The Kethver ships moved like deadly shadows through the asteroid field, their dark hulls almost invisible against the black space. They struck fast and hard, then disappeared before the Zephyrians could return fire. It was a dance both sides knew well. They had been dancing it for 300 years. Enemy contacts moving to Sector 7 called out the sensor operator. 12 ships. They're setting up for another attack run. Veltar studied the tactical display. The Kethver were good. They always had been. Fast ships, clever tactics, and weapons that could punch through almost any armor. But the Zephyrians had advantages too. Better shields, stronger hulls, and the ability to think as one mind when needed. Neither advantage was enough to win the war. Both sides had learned that lesson the hard way. The conflict had started so long ago that most people had forgotten the real reason for fighting. Some said it began over mining rights in the outer spiral systems. Others claimed it was about trade routes through the galactic core. The truth was buried under centuries of blood and hate. What mattered now was survival and revenge. "Sir, the Kethver are moving," his tactical officer reported. "They're coming around the big asteroid. Same pattern as always." Veltar nodded. He had seen this attack formation 1,000 times. The Kethver would split into 3 groups. The first would draw Zephyrian fire. The second would hit from the side while they were distracted. The third would wait to strike at damaged ships trying to retreat. It was a good plan. It always worked. That was the problem. "Helm, bring us about," Veltar ordered. "Signal the fleet. Formation Delta 7. We know what they're going to do." The Zephyrian ships moved into their defensive pattern. They had practiced this response so many times, it was automatic. The heavy cruisers would form the front line. The destroyers would cover their flanks. The carriers would stay back and launch their fighters. It was also a good plan. It usually worked too. The battle that followed was like watching an old play. Both sides knew their parts perfectly. The Kethver struck where they always struck. The Zephyrians defended where they always defended. People died. Nothing changed. After 2 hours of fighting, both fleets pulled back to lick their wounds. The Kethver had lost 4 ships. The Zephyrians had lost 3. Tomorrow, there would be another battle. Next week, there would be another battle. Year, there would be another battle. Veltar walked through the damaged sections of his ship after the fighting ended. The medical teams were still pulling wounded from the wreckage. Young soldiers with their crystalline skin cracked and bleeding. Veterans who had survived dozens of battles, but might not survive this one. "How many?" he asked the chief medical officer. 47 dead, 93 wounded. We'll save most of them, but some will never fight again." Veltar nodded. It could have been worse. It usually was. He found himself thinking about his own youth, back when the war was still new to him. He had believed then that they were fighting for something important, that victory was possible, that the next battle might be the one that ended it all. Now he knew better. The war had its own life. It fed on both sides equally, grew stronger with every battle fought, every life lost, every act of revenge that demanded another act of revenge in return. The Kethver thought the same way, he was sure. They had their own young soldiers full of hope and hate. Their own veterans who had seen too much death. Their own commanders who remembered when the fighting meant something more than just more fighting, but knowing this changed nothing. The war machine was too big to stop. Too many people on both sides made their living from it. Too many families had lost loved ones and demanded justice. Too many planets had been bombed and needed to strike back. The technology had reached its limits too. Both sides had spent centuries perfecting their weapons and defenses. Every new advance by one side was quickly matched by the other. The Zephyrians would develop a better shield. The Kethfer would develop a better weapon to punch through it. The Kethfer would build faster ships. The Zephyrians would build better sensors to track them. It was like two chess masters who had played the same game 1,000,000 times. They knew every move, every counter-move, every possible outcome. The game always ended in a draw. Veltar returned to his quarters and looked out. At the stars? Somewhere out there, in the vast darkness between the systems, were the graves of 1,000,000,000 soldiers. Zephyrian and Kethfer alike. All of them convinced they were fighting for something that mattered. Maybe they had been right. Maybe they had been wrong. It no longer mattered. The dead were dead, and the living were committed to joining them. He pulled up the tactical reports from the last 50 battles. The patterns were clear to anyone who looked. Both sides were getting weaker. Ships were being repaired instead of replaced. Crews were getting older as fewer young people volunteered to die. Entire star systems had been abandoned because neither side could spare the resources to defend them. The war was eating both civilizations alive. In another century, there might not be enough Zephyrians or Kethfer left to keep fighting. The conflict would end not because one side won, but because both sides lost everything. That should have been a hopeful thought. Instead, it filled Veltar with sadness. All those years of fighting, all those lives lost, all for nothing. He was interrupted by a signal from the communications deck. "Sir, we're receiving a message from High Command. New orders." Veltar sighed. New orders meant a new battle. Another chance for good soldiers to die for a cause that had been forgotten by everyone except the history books. "What are our orders?" He asked. "We're to proceed to the Kepler system. Intelligence reports Kethfer activity there. A full battle group, possibly planning to attack our mining operation on Kepler 442. Veltar looked at his star charts. Kepler 442 was a resource world that had changed hands 7 times in the last decade. The Zephyrians had held it for 2 years now. The Kethfer wanted it back. Soon they would fight another battle over a planet that neither side really needed, using weapons they could barely afford, losing people they could not replace. And after the battle, whoever won would hold the planet until the other side came back to take it again. "Acknowledged," Veltar said. Set course for the Kepler system. Maximum speed. What continued as it always had, as it always would. Neither side strong enough to win, neither side wise enough to stop. The conflict that had begun with the dreams of victory had become a nightmare of endless repetition. But in the vast emptiness of space, something was coming that would change everything. Something neither the Zephyrians nor the Kethfer had ever imagined. Something that would finally break the ancient cycle of war and death that had consumed civilizations for 300 years. They just didn't know it yet. Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm bells started ringing. He set down his cup and walked quickly to the bridge of the exploration ship Liberty. The crew was already at their stations, faces tense with worry. "Report," Jake said as he took his command chair. "We've got a problem, Captain," said Lieutenant Amy Carter from the science station. "Big problem." Jake looked at the main screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. Dozens of ships were fighting in the space ahead of them. Bright flashes of weapons fire lit up the darkness. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers as ships died. "How many ships?" Jake asked. "I count 47 vessels, sir," Amy replied. 2 different types. They're using weapons we've never seen before. Energy readings are off the charts. The Liberty had been exploring this part of space for 3 months. They were looking for new worlds that humans could settle. We're supposed to be alone out here. The closest human colony was 50 light years away. They were not supposed to find a war. "Distance to the battle?" Jake asked. 6 million kilometers. "Enclosing, sir," reported the navigation officer. "We'll be right in the middle of it in 20 minutes, if we don't change course." Jake studied the tactical display. The alien ships were huge, much larger than anything humanity had ever built. Some looked like they were made of crystal and metal. Others were dark and sleek like hunting sharks. Both types were clearly designed for war. Dr. Rodriguez, what do you make of this? Jake asked the ship's scientist. Dr. Alina Rodriguez was staring at her instruments with wide eyes. Captain, these are two completely different technologies. The crystal ships are using some kind of directed energy weapons. Very advanced. Dark ships are firing what looks like controlled antimatter. Both civilizations are centuries ahead of us. Are they human? Asked First Officer Matt Thompson. No, sir, Alina said. Definitely alien. Both types. This is first contact, Captain. We're looking at two alien species fighting each other. Jake felt the weight of history settling on his shoulders. First contact with alien life had always been humanity's dream. Scientists and philosophers had spent centuries wondering what would happen when humans finally met another intelligent species. They had imagined peaceful meetings, exchanges of knowledge, friendship among the stars. Nobody had imagined stumbling into the middle of an alien war. Sir, we're being scanned, reported the communications officer. Both groups have detected us. On screen, Jake ordered. The main display split into two images. On the left was a creature that looked like it was made of living crystal. Its body was tall and thin, with 4 arms and what might have been a head. It had 4 eyes that glowed with inner light. When it spoke, its voice sounded like wind chimes in a storm. On the right was something that looked like a large lizard walking on 2 legs. Its skin was dark green and covered in scales. Sharp teeth filled its mouth. When it spoke, its voice was a low growl that seemed to come from deep in its chest. Both aliens were trying to talk to the humans at the same time. The ship's computer worked frantically to translate their languages. Unknown vessel, said the crystal being. You have entered a combat zone. Identify yourself immediately or be destroyed. The strange ship, growled the lizard creature. You do? Not belong here. Leave now, or we will add your wreckage to the others. Jake looked at his crew. They were all staring at him, waiting for orders. The Liberty was not a warship. It had some basic shields and a few defensive weapons, but nothing that could stand up to the alien warships surrounding them. Open a channel to both of them, Jake said. Channel open, sir. Jake took a deep breath. The next few words might determine the fate of humanity's first contact with alien life. They might also determine whether the Liberty and her crew lived. Through the next few minutes, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth ship Liberty, he said. We are explorers from a world called Earth. We mean no harm to either of your peoples. We were not aware of your conflict and apologize for entering your battle space. Both aliens stared at him through the screen. Jake could see them thinking, trying to decide what to do with this unexpected interruption to their war. Earth. The crystal being, we have no record of this world. What species are you? We are called humans, Jake replied. We are exploring this region of space looking for new worlds to study. We have never encountered other intelligent life before today. The lizard creature leaned forward. You claim to be neutral in our war? Don't even know what your war is about, Matt Thompson said. We just arrived here. Both aliens seemed surprised by this. They talked to someone off-screen in their own languages. Jake could hear the urgency in their voices, even though he couldn't understand the words. Amy. Carter was monitoring the alien ships. Captain, both fleets have stopped firing at each other. They're all pointing their weapons at us now. Jake's mouth went dry. 47 alien warships, all focused on his small exploration vessel. If they decided to attack, the Liberty would be destroyed in seconds. Sir, Alina whispered, I'm reading massive energy buildups in their weapon systems. Both sides. They're deciding whether to kill us? Matt said quietly. The crystal being spoke first. You say you are explorers. Prove it. Show us your weapons. We have only basic defensive systems, Jake replied. We are not a military vessel. Impossible, growled the lizard creature. No species travels between stars without powerful weapons. The galaxy is too dangerous. We'll show you our ship's specifications, Jake offered. You can scan us if you want. You'll see we're telling the truth. Both aliens went quiet again. Jake could see them talking to their officers, probably trying to figure out what to make. Of these strange newcomers who claimed to be peaceful explorers, Dr. Rodriguez was studying the alien ships with her instruments. "Captain," she said softly, "I'm detecting something interesting. Both fleets are showing signs of severe battle damage. Not just from today's fight. Old damage, poorly repaired. These ships have been fighting for a long time. How long?" Asked years, maybe decades. Some of this damage looks like it's been patched over and over again. Jake thought about this. Two alien civilizations, locked in what looked like an endless war. Both sides so focused on fighting each other that they had never expanded beyond this region of space. That would explain why humanity had never encountered them before. The crystal being came back on screen. "We are the Zephyrians. We have been at war with the Kethver for 300 years. They are a savage species that seeks to destroy all civilized life." The lizard creature snarled. "Lies. We are the Kethver. The Zephyrians are crystal-hearted monsters who would enslave the entire galaxy if they could. We fight to preserve freedom." Jake looked back and forth between them. Both sides clearly believed they were in the right. Both sides clearly hated each other with a passion that had been building for centuries. "Perhaps," Jake said carefully, "we could help you find a peaceful solution to your conflict." Both aliens stared at him like he had suggested they breathe vacuum. "There can be no peace with the Kethver," said the Zephyrian. "They are incapable of honor." "The Zephyrians cannot be trusted," growled the Kethver. "They speak of peace while building weapons of war." "But surely after 300 years of fighting, you must both be tired of war," Jake said. "There is no fatigue in the pursuit of justice," the Zephyrian replied. "There is no rest while evil exists in the galaxy," the Kethver added. Jake realized he was looking at something humanity had never experienced. A war so old that both sides had forgotten how to imagine peace. Conflict so deep that neither species could see past their hatred. "Sir," Amy said quietly, "I'm detecting more ships jumping into the system. Both sides are calling for reinforcements."
Oh.
"Many?" Jake asked. "A lot. This is about to become a major battle." Jake looked at the tactical display. More alien ships were appearing every minute. Soon there would be over 100 warships in the area, all ready to resume their ancient fight. And the Liberty was right in the middle of it. "We need to get out of here," Matt said. "Agreed," Jake replied. "Helm, prepare to jump to hyperspace." "Wait," said the Zephyrian. "You cannot leave. You have seen our battle formations, our tactics. This knowledge cannot be allowed to reach the Kethver." "The human ship must be destroyed," agreed the Kethver. "They have learned too much about our capabilities." Jake felt his heart sink. Humanity's first contact with alien life was about to end with the destruction of his ship and crew. Two civilizations that had been fighting each other for centuries were about to join forces. Just long enough to eliminate the witnesses to their war. But as the alien weapons powered up and prepared to fire, Jake realized something important. Something that would change everything. The aliens had made a mistake. They had focused so much on their ancient enemy that they had forgotten to properly scan the human ship. They didn't know what humanity was capable of. They didn't know that the Liberty carried more than just exploration equipment. They didn't know that sometimes the best defense was a good surprise. "All hands," Jake said calmly. "Prepare for emergency protocols. We're about to show our new friends what humans do when cornered." First shot was about to be fired in a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. But it wouldn't be fired by the Zephyrians or the Kethver. It would be fired by humanity. Admiral Lisa Hayes walked into the emergency meeting room at Earth Defense Command. The faces around the table were grim. It had been 6 months since the Liberty made first contact with the alien civilizations. 6 months of careful study, hidden observation, and growing alarm. "Ladies and gentlemen," Lisa began, "we have a problem. A big one." She pressed a button and the wall screen came alive with star charts. Red and blue dots marked the positions of alien fleets across dozens of star systems. "The Zephyrians and Kethver are not just fighting each other," Lisa continued. "They're destroying everything around them. Entire solar systems have been turned into battlefields. Planets that could support millions of people are now dead. Rocks floating in space." Colonel Ryan Foster leaned forward. "How did Captain Morrison and his crew escape?" Luck, Lisa replied, in quick thinking. When both alien fleets tried to destroy them, Morrison used the Liberty's emergency jump drive, sent them into hyperspace. Before the aliens could fire, but just barely, Dr. Patricia Stone, Earth's top scientist, pulled up her own data. We've been studying the alien technology for months now. Both sides are incredibly advanced, but they've stopped growing. They've been using the same weapons and tactics for decades. Why? Asked General Kevin Walsh. Because all their resources go to the war, Patricia explained. They can't innovate because they're too busy fighting. Every ship they build, every weapon they make, it all gets used up in battle. They're stuck, Lisa nodded. The analysts think this war has been going on for so long that neither side remembers how to do anything else. They've turned their entire civilizations into war machines. Colonel Foster studied the tactical displays. What about their military capabilities? Impressive, Lisa admitted. Their weapons can crack planets. Their ships are fast and heavily armored, but there's a pattern to how they fight. The Zephyrians always attack in large formations. Always the same formations. The Kethfer always respond with hit-and-run tactics. Always the same tactics. They're predictable, Foster said. Exactly. They've been fighting the same battle over and over for 3 centuries. Neither side has tried anything new because they're too focused on countering what the other side did last time. Dr. Stone brought up technical diagrams on her tablet. There's something else. We found weaknesses in their technology. Big ones. The room went quiet. Everyone leaned in to listen. Their shields work by deflecting incoming energy, Patricia explained. Very effective against their own weapons. But they're designed to stop specific types of attacks. If you hit them with something different, something they're not expecting, the shields don't adapt. What kind of something different? Lisa asked. Phase-shifted energy bursts. We can modify our weapons to cycle through different frequencies during flight. Their shields will try to deflect the first frequency, but by the time they adjust, we're already using a different one. Colonel Foster smiled. So we can punch through their defenses. Not just punch through, Patricia said. We can go around them completely. It's like they built doors to stop elephants, but we're sending in mice. General Walsh frowned. But they still outnumber us. Even if we can get through their shields, they have thousands of ships. They have maybe 100 combat vessels in the entire Earth fleet. Lisa had been waiting for this question. That's where things get interesting. Ryan, show them your analysis. Colonel Foster stood up and walked to the display. I've been studying their battle records for months. Every engagement, every tactic, every formation. Zephyrians and Kethfer fight like they're following a script. He pointed to the screen where battle formations moved like pieces on a chessboard. Look at this engagement from last month. The Zephyrians sent 12 heavy cruisers in a delta formation. The Kethfer responded by splitting into 3 groups and attacking from the flanks. It's the exact same pattern they used in 47 previous battles. They never change? Asked General Walsh. Never. They're so focused on their ancient enemy that they can't think outside the box. The Zephyrians assume everyone will fight like the Kethfer. The Kethfer assume everyone will fight like the Zephyrians. Neither side has faced an opponent who fights completely differently. Lisa took over again. That's our advantage. We don't fight like either of them. We use smaller ships, faster tactics, and weapons they've never seen before. Most importantly, we can change our approach in the middle of battle. They can't. Dr. Stone pulled up more technical data. There's something else we discovered. Both alien species have been fighting for so long that they've developed tunnel vision. They only research weapons and defenses that work against each other. They've ignored entire areas of technology, such as, Lisa asked, stealth systems, electronic warfare, adaptive AI, the kind of things we developed during our own wars on Earth. To them, these concepts might as well be magic. The room was silent as everyone absorbed this information. Humanity had found advanced alien civilizations, but those civilizations had weaknesses that humans could exploit. So what's the plan? General Walsh asked. Lisa smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. We're going to end their war. whether they want us to or not. She pressed another button, and the display changed too. Show Earth's fleet movements over the past few months. We've been building ships in secret, new designs based on what we learned from studying the aliens. Fast, stealthy, and equipped with weapons that can bypass their defenses. Colonel Foster added his part. We've also been training our crews in new tactics. Hit and run attacks, but not like the Kethver. We'll strike at their supply lines, their communication networks, their repair facilities. We'll force them to fight on multiple fronts, while never giving them a clear target to hit back at. But why get involved at all? Asked Dr. Stone. No. Why? Not just leave them alone to fight each other. Lisa's expression grew serious, because they're expanding. Both sides are running out of resources in their home systems. They're starting to look for new territory to exploit. New worlds to strip mine for war materials. She highlighted several star systems on the map. These are all within 50 light years of human colonies. If the war keeps growing, it will reach our space within 20 years, maybe 10. So we fight them before they fight us? General Walsh said. No, Lisa corrected. We end their ability to fight anyone. We're going to do something neither side has tried in 300 years. We're going to win. The plan was ambitious and dangerous. Earth would build a fleet of advanced warships using human technology enhanced with alien science. They would intervene in the war, not to help either side, but to defeat both sides so completely that neither would be able to continue fighting. The key is speed, Colonel Foster explained. We hit them hard and fast before they can adapt. We disable their fleets, capture their key systems, and force them to negotiate from a position of weakness. And if they refuse to negotiate? Asked General Walsh. Then we keep hitting them until they change their minds, Lisa replied. Both species are exhausted from centuries of war. They want to survive more than they want to keep fighting. We just need to show them that survival requires peace. Dr. Stone looked worried. There's a risk they might join forces against us. There's two enemies becoming allies to fight a common threat. We've considered that, Lisa said, but their hatred runs too deep. They've been killing each other for so long that they can't imagine working together, even to save themselves. That's another weakness we can exploit. The meeting continued for hours as they refined the details. Ship designs, battle tactics, target priorities, and contingency plans. Everything had to be perfect. Humanity would get only one chance to prove itself against the alien civilizations. Timeline? Asked General Walsh. 8 months to build the fleet, Lisa replied. 2 months for final training and positioning. Then we make our move. What are we calling this operation? Colonel Foster asked. Lisa thought for a moment. Operation Peacekeeper. Because that's what we're going to be. The peacekeepers of the galaxy, whether the galaxy wants us or not. As the meeting ended and people filed out, Dr. Stone approached Lisa with a final concern. Admiral, are we sure we're doing the right thing? We're essentially declaring war on 2 advanced civilizations that have never threatened Earth directly. Lisa looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were preparing for battles that would accomplish nothing except more death and destruction. Patricia, she said quietly, sometimes the right thing is also the hard thing. These 2 species have been trapped in a cycle of violence for 3 centuries. They've forgotten how to stop. Maybe it takes an outsider to show them the way. And if we're wrong, if we make things worse? Lisa turned back to her. Then at least we tried. But I don't think we're wrong. I think we're exactly what the galaxy needs right now. Species that still remembers there are better ways to solve problems than endless war. The preparations began immediately. In shipyards around Earth and her colonies, workers started building vessels unlike anything humanity had ever created. Fast, deadly, and designed for one purpose: to end a war that had consumed 2 civilizations and threatened to consume more. Captain Alex Turner stood on the bridge of the UES Endeavour as the ship dropped out of hyperspace. The view screen showed exactly what the intelligence reports had predicted. 2 massive alien fleets facing each other across empty space, preparing for another battle in their endless war. Position report, Alex said calmly. We're directly between both fleets, sir, replied Lieutenant Commander Sarah Adams from the navigation station. Zephyrian fleet is 2 million kilometers to starboard. Kethfer fleet is 2 million kilometers to port. Perfect. Communications. Open a channel to both fleet commanders simultaneously. Channel open, sir. Alex straightened his uniform and looked directly into the camera. This is Captain Alex Turner of the United Earthship Endeavor. I'm here to end your war. The response was immediate and predictable. Both alien fleet commanders appeared on split screens, their faces showing anger and disbelief. Impossible human. Snarled the Kethfer Admiral. You are one small ship. We are 47 warships. Leave now or be destroyed. The foolish human speaks of ending what cannot be ended, said the Zephyrian commander, her crystalline features glowing with annoyance. This conflict is beyond your understanding. Withdraw before we demonstrate our power. Alex smiled. I was hoping you'd say that, Lieutenant Adams. Initiate demonstration protocol. Yes, sir. Launching probe swarm. From the Endeavor's launch bays, dozens of small objects shot out into space. They were no bigger than shuttles, moving fast and silent through the darkness between the alien fleets. Sir, both fleets are trying to target the probes, reported Chief Tactical Officer Pete Davis. Their weapons can't lock on. Coding is working perfectly. The alien fleet commanders were shouting orders at their crews. Alex could hear the confusion in their voices as their most advanced sensors failed to track the human probes. What are those devices? Demanded the Zephyrian. Where did they go? Growled the Kethfer. Our sensors show nothing. Those are a demonstration of human technology, Alex replied calmly. Technology that both of your species seem to have overlooked during your 300 years of fighting each other. The probes moved through both fleets like ghosts. They slipped past sensor grids that should have detected them. They avoided. Weapon systems that should have destroyed them. They positioned themselves next to the most powerful ships in both armadas without triggering a single alarm. Sir, all probes are in position, Sarah reported. Excellent. Execution. Charges ready? All charges armed and ready, Captain. Alex opened the communication channel again. Fleet commanders, you have 30 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to listen to what I have to say. If you refuse, we'll power them down for you. Aliens laughed. The sound was not pleasant. Human fool, said the Kethfer Admiral. No weapon you possess can threaten our shields. Our defenses have been perfected over centuries of warfare. Your threats are meaningless, agreed the Zephyrian commander. We will destroy your ship and continue our righteous battle against the Kethfer. Time's up, Alex said quietly. Pete, execute pacification protocol. Firing all charges, sir? Space between the fleets lit up with dozens of small explosions, but these were not ordinary explosions. Each probe detonated a device that human scientists had designed specifically for this moment. Electromagnetic pulse generators that had been modified with stolen alien technology. The effect was immediate and devastating. Every ship in both fleets went dark. Engines stopped. Weapons powered down. Life support systems switched to emergency backup power. The mighty warships that had been preparing to destroy each other suddenly became helpless, metal shells drifting in space. What have you done? The Zephyrian commander demanded, her image flickering as her ship's power systems struggled to stay online. We've leveled the playing field, Alex replied. Your weapons are offline. Your shields are down. Your engines are dead. But your life support is still working, so you're all going to live through this. The Kethfer Admiral was frantically giving orders to his crew. Restart the main reactors. Bring weapons back online. I want that human ship destroyed, I'm afraid. That's not going to work, Alex said. Those pulse charges didn't just knock out your power. They infected your computer systems with a virus that will prevent you from restarting your weapons for the next 6 hours. It was a lie, but Alex knew the aliens didn't know enough about human technology to call his bluff. In reality, the pulse charges would only keep their systems down for about 20 minutes, but 20 minutes was all he needed. This is impossible, said the Zephyrian. No species has ever developed such weapons. You're wrong, Alex replied. Humans developed them. It's just like we developed dozens of other technologies that apparently never occurred to either of your civilizations. On the tactical display, both Alien fleets were trying desperately to restore power to their ships. Some were having more success than others, but none had managed to bring their weapons back online yet. "Sir, I'm reading massive communication traffic between both fleets," reported the communications officer. "They're asking their homeworlds for instructions." "Let them talk," Alex said. "Sarah, how long until the Zephyrian heavy cruiser gets its engines back?" 15 minutes, sir. And the Kethver battleship? 12 minutes. Perfect. That gives us time for the next demonstration. Alex opened the channel again. "Fleet commanders, I want you to pick your most powerful ship, the one with the heaviest armor and strongest shields. We're going to show you what happens when human weapons meet your defenses." Both aliens chose their flagships, massive vessels that had survived dozens of battles protected by shields and armor that had been refined over centuries of warfare. "Pete, target both flagships. Single shot from the main cannon." "Sir, are you sure? Those ships still have crews?" "Aboard. Don't worry." The shot is designed to disable, not destroy. Fire when ready. The Endeavor's main weapon was something neither alien species had ever seen before. It didn't fire energy beams or projectiles. Instead, it created a focused gravity wave that could pass right through normal matter. Two invisible pulses of twisted space-time reached out from the human ship. They passed through the alien shields like those shields didn't exist. They ignored the heavy armor plating that had protected those ships through countless battles. They struck the reactor cores at the heart of both flagships and created a controlled shutdown that would keep those reactors offline for hours. The effect was immediate. Both flagship commanders found themselves sitting in ships that were completely powerless and would stay that way until human engineers chose to fix them. "How?" whispered the Zephyrian. "Gravity waves," Alex explained. "Your shields deflect energy and matter, but they can't stop gravity. It's a basic principle of physics that your weapons designers apparently missed." The Kethver admiral was staring at his darkened control panels. "This is not possible. Our shields are impenetrable. It's only against the weapons you're used to fighting." Alex said, "But humans don't fight the way you do. We don't use the same tactics you've been using against each other for 3 centuries. We think differently." More alien ships were starting to get their power back, but their commanders were no longer eager to resume the battle. They had seen their most powerful vessels disabled by weapons they couldn't understand or defend against. "What do you want?" "From us?" the Zephyrian commander asked. "I want you to listen," Alex replied. "Both of you. The first time in 300 years, I want you to actually hear what the other side is saying." "We cannot negotiate with the Kethver," the Zephyrian said. "They're savages who stop," Alex interrupted. "Right there. That's exactly the kind of thinking that's kept this war going for centuries. You've both forgotten how to see each other as anything except enemies," the Kethver admiral growled. "The Zephyrians cannot be trusted. They speak of peace while building weapons of stop," Alex said again. "You're doing the same thing. You're both so focused on old grudges that you can't see the bigger picture." On the tactical display, both fleets were slowly getting their systems back online. But instead of moving to attack positions, they were holding their distance. The demonstration had shaken them more than Alex had hoped. "Sir," Sarah reported quietly, "I'm detecting jump signatures. More ships are arriving." "Ours?" Alex asked. "Yes, sir. The Valiant and the Defiant just dropped out of hyperspace. They're taking positions to cover our flanks." Alex smiled. Admiral Hayes had promised backup if things went badly. 2 more human ships wouldn't be enough to fight both alien fleets, but they would make the demonstration even more impressive. "Fleet commanders," Alex said, "you now have a choice. You can try to restart this battle and see how human weapons perform against your best efforts. Or you can come aboard my ship and discuss ending this war peacefully. And if we refuse," the Kethver asked, "then we'll keep demonstrating human technology until you change your minds," Alex replied. "We have ships equipped with weapons you can't defend against. We have tactics you've never seen before. We have the ability to shut down your fleets whenever we choose." The alien commanders looked at each other across the communication link. For the first time in centuries, Zephyrian and Kethver were seeing each other not as hated enemies, but as fellow victims of human superiority. The meeting room aboard the UES Endeavor was deliberately simple. A round table with 3 chairs. No weapons, no guards, no symbols of power or authority. Just 3 beings from different worlds trying to find a way forward. Ambassador Karen. Philip sat across from the 2 alien commanders. She had been chosen for this moment because of her skill at negotiation and her ability to stay calm under pressure. Today she would need both qualities. To her left sat Fleet Commander Zekton of the Kethfer. He was larger than she had expected, with dark green scales and sharp teeth that he showed whenever he was angry, which seemed to be most of the time too. Her right sat High Coordinator Meloriza of the Zephyrians. Her crystalline body caught the light and threw it back in rainbow patterns. Her 4 eyes glowed with an inner fire that never seemed to dim. Both aliens were trying very hard not to look at each other. "Thank you both for coming," Karen said in a calm voice. "I know this is difficult." "Difficult?" Zekton growled. "I'll do. Disable our fleets, humiliate our warriors, and then ask us to sit with our enemies. This is beyond difficult. This is insulting. Our people have made us appear weak in front of our crews," Meloriz added, her voice like wind chimes in a storm. "How can we maintain order if our soldiers believe we are powerless?" Karen nodded. "I understand your concerns. But let me ask you both a question. How has 300 years of showing strength worked out for you?" Both aliens went quiet. It was not a comfortable silence. "Your fleets are exhausted," Karen continued. "Your worlds are bankrupt from building warships. Your people know nothing but fighting and dying. Is this the legacy you want to leave for your children?" "The Kethfer started this war," Meloriz said. "They attacked our mining colonies without provocation. The Zephyrians stole territory that belonged to us," Zekton snarled back. "They used their mind tricks to claim what was ours by right." "Stop," Karen said firmly. "Right there." "Bore! Do you hear what you're doing?" Both aliens looked at her with confusion. "You're arguing about events that happened 3 centuries ago. Events that neither of you were alive to witness? You're continuing a fight that was started by people who are long dead over reasons that no longer matter." General Chris Martin entered the room and took a seat next to Karen. He had asked to be present for this part of the negotiation. His military expertise would be needed to explain exactly what humanity was capable of. "Let me be clear about something," Chris said in a calm but firm voice. "The demonstration you witnessed today was just the beginning. Humanity has weapons and tactics that make what you saw look like children's toys." He activated a holographic display that showed technical readouts of human military capabilities. "We have ships that can destroy planets, weapons that can make stars go supernova, technology that can wipe out entire solar systems without leaving a trace." Both aliens stared at the display with growing horror. "But we don't want to use those weapons," Karen added quickly. "We're offering you something much better. We're offering you survival." Dr. Nancy Clark, the ship's specialist in alien psychology, joined the discussion. She had been studying both species for months, learning how their minds worked and what motivated them. "Your civilizations are trapped," Nancy explained. "You've been fighting for so long that you've forgotten how to do anything else. Your entire cultures are built around this war. The war gives our lives meaning," Meloriz said. "Without it, what would we be?" "You'd be alive," Karen replied simply. "You'd be free to explore the galaxy, to learn new things, to grow as people. Right now, you're just killing machines trapped in an endless cycle." Zekton leaned forward aggressively. "And what if we refuse your offer? What if we choose to continue fighting?" Chris answered without hesitation. "Then humanity will stop you. Permanently." "You would destroy us?" Meloriz asked. "If necessary," Chris confirmed. "But we'd prefer not to. Destroying civilizations is wasteful. We'd rather save them." Karen pulled up a new display, showing economic projections and resource allocation charts. "Look at these numbers," she said. "This is what your worlds could accomplish if you stopped spending everything on weapons. Medical advances that could extend your lifespans. Technologies that could make your planets more livable. Ships that could take you to new worlds and new discoveries." "You're asking us to trust our ancient enemies," Zekton said. "No," Karen replied. "I'm asking you to trust us. Humanity will guarantee your security. We'll monitor both civilizations and prevent Any attempts to restart the war? And if one side breaks the agreement, Melorese asked, then they'll face the full might of the human military, Chris said. We'll crush any attempt to return to warfare. Both sides will have peace, whether they want it or not. Nancy leaned forward. There's something else you need to understand. Your species have been fighting for so long that you've stopped evolving. Socially, culturally, technologically. You're stuck in the past while the rest of the galaxy moves forward. She showed them images of human colonies, bustling with activity and innovation. This is what's possible when you're not spending all your energy on killing each other. Art, science, exploration, growth, things your people haven't experienced in centuries. What exactly are you proposing? Melorese asked. Karen smiled. Complete disarmament of both military forces. Human peacekeepers will patrol your territories and prevent any conflicts. Trade agreements between your species that make cooperation more profitable than war. Joint scientific projects that benefit both civilizations. You're asking us to surrender, Zekton growled. No, Karen said. We're asking you to choose life over death, progress over stagnation, a future over an endless repetition of the past. Chris activated another display showing the current state of both alien civilizations. Look at your birth rates. Look at your economic output. Look at your technological advancement. You're both dying slowly. The war is consuming you from the inside. In another century, there won't be enough of either species left to keep fighting. The aliens studied the data with growing alarm. The numbers didn't lie. Both civilizations were in decline, their resources exhausted by endless warfare. We need time to consider this, Melorese said finally. How much time? Karen asked. Our councils must debate. Our people must be consulted, Zekton replied. Chris shook his head. You have 1 hour. Impossible. Both aliens protested at once. 1 hour, Chris repeated, 'cause in 1 hour, both of your fleets will have their weapons back online. Be ready to resume fighting. If they do, humanity will intervene with full force. Karen softened her voice. We don't want to hurt anyone. But we won't allow this war to continue. Too many people have died already. Too many worlds have been destroyed. It ends today, one way or another. The aliens looked at each other for the first time since entering the room. It's really looked, not with hatred, but with something approaching understanding. If we agree, Melorese said slowly, what guarantee do we have that humanity won't simply conquer us both? You don't, Karen admitted. You'll have to trust us. It's just like we're trusting you to honor this agreement. And if we refuse? Zekton asked. Then you'll face the same fate, Chris said quietly. Complete military defeat, followed by occupation. Enforced peace. The end result will be the same, but the path there will be much more painful. Nancy pulled up one final display. It showed population projections for both species under 2 scenarios. One where the war continued, one where peace was established. In the war scenario, both your species are extinct within 200 years, she explained. In the peace scenario, both civilizations flourish and spread to hundreds of new worlds. Choice was clear. Survival required peace. Peace required surrender. And surrender required trusting a species that had proven itself capable of destroying them both. We need to speak with our people, Melorese said. Do it here, Karen replied. Call your councils. Explain the situation. Let them see the same. Data, we've shown you. For the next hour, the meeting room became a communication center. Both alien commanders spoke with their home worlds, their military leaders, their civilian governments. The conversations were heated, desperate, and ultimately decisive. When the hour was up, both aliens turned to the humans with expressions of defeat and resignation. The Zephyrian Council accepts your terms, Melorese said quietly. The Kethver. Assembly agrees to peace, Zekton added. Though the words seemed to hurt him, Karen smiled. Excellent. Now comes the hard part. Learning how to live without war. What happens to our fleets? Melorese asked. It's converted to exploration and cargo. Vessels, Chris replied. Your shipyards will build research stations instead of battleships. Your weapons factories will produce mining equipment and terraforming tools. And our warriors, Zekton asked, will become peacekeepers, scientists, colonists, traders, Nancy. said, "There are many ways to serve your people that don't involve killing your neighbors." As the formal surrender documents were signed, Karen felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Humanity had achieved something that seemed impossible. They had ended a war that had raged for 3 centuries. It saved 2 civilizations from destroying each other. "There's one more thing," she said, as the aliens prepared to leave. 50 years when your grandchildren are exploring new worlds and making new discoveries. They'll thank you for making this choice.